Those partnered with darkness have such hatred for me and my people that they have hatched plots to block my life-giving sunlight in order to cause famine and widespread death. All these darkened hearts focus on is stealing, killing, and destroying. I am done with their death agendas, and my day of retribution and recompense is coming. That day will be the longest day for the evil empire as they are exposed, rounded up, and brought before military tribunals and judges, where they will be judged and sentenced for their lives of treachery, treason, and all the deaths they have caused. Life for them and life for you will change on the longest day. For the darkness, they will lose everything, their wealth, their reputations, their freedom, and some their lives. Nothing will stop my longest day from coming to pass. For my children of light, the longest day will mean freedom from tyranny, financial slavery, and death agendas. The longest day will be the darkest day the evil empire has ever seen. But the rest of the world will enter into blessing, freedom, peace, and plenty. The longest day will be the beginning of a whole new era of life and light. So he has a longest day coming in this war for our freedom and for light to triumph in all around the world. So we can look for that, the longest day. Bad news for the evil empire, blessed news and change for those of the light. We're going to go back at 2 years, June 15th, 2023. This is just one of my favorites. I have to repeat it. It's called the comeuppance. Not a word that we hear a lot these days. It was more used when America was smaller, more rural. And so I decided, what is the real definition of a comeuppance? And I went to Daniel Webster's 1828 dictionary because it often has more of a root meaning, often tied to scripture for words that we use. So I really like those definitions. And this, I was pretty shocked. Comeuppance began as a term that meant present yourself for judgment by a tribunal. Whoa. And it's also a deserved rebuke or penalty. I was pretty shocked when the Father pulled tribunals into this comeuppance word. He said, does it seem like the wicked, arrogant ones are continuing to get away with murder? Who is strong enough, courageous enough, and powerful enough to bring the comeuppance they deserve? I am, and I will bring them their day of comeuppance. This comeuppance will not be a slap on the wrist or a fine. It will require full payback of stolen resources and complete justice for all their criminal actions. Some of their comeuppance will come directly from my hand, worked out through my mighty host. Wow, I wouldn't want to face that. The comeuppance for some will be a loss of their lives. Their breath will be taken from them. The comeuppance from my hand will collapse buildings, monuments, and systems tied to their evil empire. I have placed my courage, discipline, and true justice into your military tribunals, and they will render just decisions, deserved penalties, and death sentences for high treason and the murder of innocent lives. When the day of comeuppance arrives, you will no longer wonder if justice will ever come. The day of comeuppance will slam into them like a freight train and roll over them like a tsunami. Nothing will stop the comeuppance. The world will once again know the fear of the Lord and will learn wisdom ways to walk in. Don't get discouraged, my army of light. The day of the comeuppance is at hand. Wow.
This first one is from Carolyn Dennis, and I'm going to have to read it to you because the video is no longer available. And all links to the prophecies will be in the description as usual. And I'm not going to read all of this, I'm just parts of it. It says, "Oh, a storm is coming. Bonding and Cash will soon be releasing buckets and buckets of evidence against major players in Congress, celebrities, and other famous ones. You all thought your money and power would let you get away. You can run, but you cannot hide. They are coming for you. Soon, the fake central casting will be outed, and some of them are corrupt as well. The tribunal will be mainstreamed. It is all very well documented. Full exposure of the E-list. Crimes and victims and charges and charges and charges. There will be a massive roundup of human child STs. Bondi and Cash have their hands full, but are making headway. This global child ST operation goes deep in and high up. You will be amazed at the names that are tied to it. Some are household names on your TV. These are going to shock and surprise, as all will come out. I am cleaning house for my glory, and all will see there is no evil under the sun that will not be exposed. All is going to come out. The news will have to tell it, and there will be special broadcasts. There will be so much that Caroline Leavitt will talk as long as Trump at the podium. Oh, the storms are coming for the evil in this world. They will be rounded up and put away. Woe to those who defend the evil and lie about the innocent and the children. Woe to those who fight for justice, for those who were given the deportation process and cannot fight to protect innocent women and children from being raped and brutally unalived. Woe to the judges who render decisions that are against the Constitution and Bill of Rights. Woe to the judges who have taken money under the table and in the back room and justify it that you deserve it because of your position. You will be held accountable for the bribery, lies, and illegal rulings you have made against my president and his administration. Woe to you! You will be stripped of your robes, your gavel too, your power, and your money. Repent now." And just a few lines in the second paragraph. "My storm is coming through man, through arrests, indictments, drug busts of cartels, and tribunals and executions. It is all coming to a theater near you, right on your very own TV."
Every traitor and deep state informant, every criminal and murderer will be exposed and removed. Get used to hearing tribunals. I've told you about this word before, but now is the time you will hear and see tribunals judging and sentencing of your enemies and getting rid of all the treasonous traitors against you.
The first thing actually I was seeing was I was taken into and onto a Navy vessel for the United States of America. And to me, it felt like an aircraft carrier. I looked down at my feet and I see this steel plated floor. And then I was taken in through a doorway and a staircase and, down some hallways and into some things. And this vessel was very big. I mean, it had a hospital, it had doctors, it had specialized staff, not only to care for the crew, on the ship, but also there was a special team and this special team of doctors and nurses and that were assigned to some very high level officials that were on the ship. And as well as them, there was a team of highly trained administrators, security and intelligence people, logistical members. They were all working together, and I knew that they had been for some time, and they were really like just a well-oiled machine. And I knew by the Spirit that this was actually now home to them. And due to the assignment that they were on, they had to be protected and kept safe for what they'd been called to do. So for this special team, there was no flying back and forth to family, for these ones. They literally had dedicated years of service at a great cost to them and their families to do what they were doing. I'm on this vessel and I didn't see a map. I don't know where we were, but I did know by the Spirit that we were in international waters. And because, and due to the position that they were in international waters, they could do things there that they could not be done anywhere else in light of international law. And, so I hope this makes sense to people, but that's kind of the crux of it. So the area of the ship that they were working in, and I'm in there, had been set up in a way that it kind of felt like a courtroom, but it was actually a little different. It had two main tables, in the room, and one was kind of the one kind of felt like a head table, and the other one, it had chairs behind it and that. And I realized that the room I was standing in was intended for military tribunals. And so the head table, there were generals and officials, where they sat to do their questioning, present the evidence. And I mean, let me be clear, this was not done with a lawyer presenting evidence, in a greasy way. This was hardcore truth, hardcore facts, hardcore evidence that they were presenting for the most atrocious crimes against humanity. I mean, they had it all in hand and they weren't holding anything back. Now, the other table was much smaller, and this is where the perpetrators sat, to be charged and brought to justice. Now, they were brought in, there was a little door on the side, and they would bring them in from, there was adjoining cell blocks there. And they waited their turn to face the music, and they were brought in, sat down, and the proceedings began. And now this was a very stark contrast to the luxurious and opulence and corrupt lives that many of them had come from. This room, these tribunals, were the end of the line for them, and there would be no place for them to pay off another lawyer. There was no place for them to pay off another crooked judge or media outlet to make their crime go away. This was pure justice at hand, and the fear of God was in the room. I mean, you could cut the air like a knife. I mean, this fortified space was dealing with the most evil of evils. And with every conviction and with every righteous judgment that was made, the atmosphere grew a little lighter and brighter. And justice was coming out of these tribunals that would shift the world for good. There were not only evil kings and governmental officials and bureaucrats, but they were also financial controllers and string pullers. And I was shown they went in, and there was apprehensions at the UN, at NATO, at the WEF, at the WHO, and the IMF. I mean, all soon they were going to be dealt with, as were many other establishments, institutions, and organizations that were on the list. Not one of them would get out and get away with the consequences of their actions. It was time to pay the piper for them all. They were going to be charged, and they were going to be tried by righteous, God-appointed generals and officials. And the corrupt systems that they had paid off and bought and owned would also be facing these same tribunals. They get one nation and then another, systematically cleaning things up just with incredible logistical, tactical coordination. I mean, it was something to see. And as they rounded these up and they removed these ones, the demonic atmospheres and structures simply were done. I mean, their goose was cooked. It was over.